8. Time to chat with the co-leader of the Green Party, Russel Norman, with us this morning. Good morning, Russell.
Morning, Larry.
You're not feeling too chilly on the top of your head at all this morning?
It was a little cool on the walk into the office, but not too bad.
So it's probably the opposite sort of end of the year that you want to be shaving your head, but I guess it was a good cause, right?
Yeah. Leukemia and blood cancer research. It was a good cause. And it's kind of helped bring a bit of attention to what they're up to.
Yeah. Any strange comments?
On TV3 this morning they said that at least I didn't have helmet hair from a bike helmet.
True. That's true. There's a lot of practicalities, of course. No nits. Would be
Yeah, that's right. I got rid of all my nits.
It's a good thing. Hey, let's talk about this. This is a very strange story, really. Following reports that the Australian government has shut out Huawei from participating in its national broadband network, you guys, the Green Party, are calling for a formal inquiry into Huawei's involvement in New Zealand's national broadband network and other projects as well. Now, why is this?
Huawei have certain connections to the Chinese authoritarian government, which is, lots of reports that they're involved in wide-scale cyber attacks. And so the Australians have said, we don't want them building the network in Australia, the $40 billion broadband network. But the New Zealand government has contracted them to build some of the network here. So we want to know what security concerns the New Zealand government has, and have they looked into whether it really is wise to have Huawei involved in it.
Well, you think, though, that if New Zealand had security concerns about Huawei, then surely we wouldn't be allowing them to be part of this project.
Yep, that's a good point. And so why then have the Australians and the Americans decided that it's too dangerous to involve them in the project, when the New Zealanders that so far have said it's fine? What is it that the Australians and Americans know that the New Zealanders don't?
What specifically are we worried about? Do we think that Huawei might install some kind of equipment on the network that would monitor communications or something? Is that what we're talking about?
Yep.
It's very cloak and dagger sort of stuff, isn't it?
It's a funny old world. I mean, there's a lot of, I think it's pretty common knowledge that the Chinese government is involved in widespread cyber attacks, and the problem is in monitoring and eavesdropping. So, how do you deal with essentially a company that's closely allied to the Chinese government who wants to build your broadband network?
But what does this kind of stuff? I mean, if we were to say, no, Huawei, bugger off now, we don't want you. What does this say about New Zealand-Chinese relationships?
Well, the core of the issue is the conflict between the economic and security interests of New Zealand and Australia. So New Zealand and Australia have become very economically attached to China, but at the same time, their security interests are, there's enormous tension in the security relationship. And this is reflected in the fact that China's engaged in the cyber war against Australia, New Zealand, US, and various other places, and no doubt the other way around. So, where there's a tension between the economic and security interests, and that's what this has brought to the fore.
What kind of interests would China have in cyber attacks in New Zealand? What would they be after? What are they interested in, do you think?
I can't really go into it, to be honest, because I'm on the Intelligence and Security Committee. So I have to rely on what's publicly available when I give comment about this stuff, because it's actually illegal for me to talk about what goes on the committee. I'm not sure that there's any public information about what their targets are in New Zealand. So I'm afraid I can't talk about it.
So if you're on the committee, can you not bring this up within the committee?
I will, but the committee meets very infrequently. It's one of our issues with the committee is that in terms of parliamentary oversight of the intelligence and security services, it's very, very limited because the committee only meets twice a year.
Would it be likely that the committee is given information by the Australian government about what their fears are?
Well, if it wanted to, yeah. If the committee was of a mind to actually investigate, then yes, it would. But you've got to remember the government's got a majority on the committee. There's only 5 people on it, and 3 of them are from the government. It's going to be pushing it to get them to do anything, because if the government doesn't want to do it, they've got the numbers on the committee.
So Huawei do obviously these big kind of infrastructure projects, but they also do consumer grade stuff as well. Like my modem at home is a Huawei modem. As a consumer, should I be worried about the company at all?
Yeah, pass.
Would you install a Huawei modem at your house, Russell?
Never.
Then that, I suppose, answers that question. It's rather extraordinary. I guess this isn't going to be going away anytime soon.
No, it's an ongoing. It's a very interesting. I mean, if you step back and just look at it from an academic, if you like, point of view, it is fascinating, the tension between the security and economic interests between these huge powers. I mean, obviously, New Zealand, we're just kind of like peripheral to the real game, which is China and the United States.
Exactly.
And Australia, there, is the United States' little friend, but and yet Australia is absolutely dependent on its economic relationship with China. So there's some very interesting tensions that keep getting played out. We've got very similar, problems ourselves. If you think about the Crafer decision, it's really upset the Chinese government because they want to buy the land. And so they're saying to us, well, look, your dairy products, we're going to put some really nasty penalty tariffs on them. Yeah. And we don't really care about that free trade agreement. After all, it is just a piece of paper. Yeah. And unless you let us buy the land. And if we then turn around and say to Huawei, no, you can't build our fibre optic network, then that's just going to infuriate them even further.
And that's the position that John Key's in, right?
Yeah, that's the nub of it. Is they don't want to upset the Chinese anymore. I mean, I just think it's pretty pathetic. This is an authoritarian state. I mean, we're not dealing with a democratic government here. It's a repressive authoritarian state, and basically the New Zealand government is kowtowing to it. That's the truth, and it's sad, but that's what's going on.
Russel Norman, thanks very much for your time.
Okay, see you soon.
Co-leader of the Greens, Russel Norman, with us.